Right. Hello again. So I think now we are good to start. So we have so many participants, and the specialty today is that we have both students as well as their parents joining here with us for this discussion. So the parents who are working abroad, they are also here to listen to this discussion, live discussion. And okay, I will first explain you how the webinar will be conducted. For the next hour and a half. So we'll keep everyone's microphones on mute mode. And if you have any question, you can direct them us through the chat box, or else there's option called raise your hand. So you can, through those options, you can direct your questions to us. So end of the session, we can give you a chance to, get clarifications for your questions. Right. So now, first, let me introduce myself. I'm Tisha Viangoda, Senior Manager, Strategy and Business Development at Asian Institute of Business and Science, AIBS campus. So, and I will now explain you who we are, what is AIBS and who we are. So, Asian Institute of Business and Science is an emerging private educational institute built on the expertise and collective experience of its board of governors from the diverse academic and professional spheres. And AIBS currently provides many international qualifications along with our international educational partners. And so AIBS is a Pearson approved study center that provides BTech Higher National Diploma in Business, leading to BSc Honours International Business, and BTech HND Applied Sciences, leading to BSc Honours Medical, Biomedical Science, and BSc Honours Biotechnology. So in addition to this, so we have University Foundation programs under AIBS Foundation Studies, and these University Foundation programs give you the opportunity to study in foreign universities like in UK, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. And that is about, like, very briefly about our institute and who we are. So you will later hear more about all our available options at our campus. And about the session today, a future in life sciences, that's our topic of the webinar, and that is organized by AIBS School of Sciences, and this is to create an awareness and educate on higher education pathways and career opportunities in life sciences. So mainly in the streams of biomedical science and biotechnology. So from this webinar, we will be looking at both local and international perspectives in life sciences, and finally to introduce the pathways available at AIBS campus. Right, so now we have three main speakers and a surprise guest speaker with us here today. So, right, so let me first invite our first speaker of the day, and that is Dr. Chamarji Soisa, Head of Academic at AIBS campus. So, Dr. Soisa completed his studies in clinical medicine and graduated specializing in clinical embryology from the University of Delhi, and he ventured into the demanding field of clinical research in the frontiers of infertility, IVF, and pregnancy complications. Dr. Soisa holds a diploma in clinical embryology from the University of Delhi, and he also holds a master in law in international business, specializing in finance from the University of Cardiff Metropolitan, UK, and a Master of Business Administration from the Faculty of Management Studies, University of Delhi. So Dr. Soisa will brief us on career opportunities in the field of biotechnology in Sri Lanka. So I invite Dr. De Soisa. So Dr. De Soisa, over to you, please.
Thank you, Tisha. Thanks a lot for your introduction. So it's a new day. A future in life sciences, right? So in this webinar, we are going to talk about what are the main career opportunities available in the area of life sciences today, and it will provide you a platform to understand where basically where you can proceed your careers. Right. So what is about the life sciences? Basically, life science is all about you are studying live organism. Can be plants, or it can be animals, or it can be human beings. So why we talked about the life sciences today? Because not like so many years back, today in this world, there are so many opportunities available for you all in the field of life sciences. Not only in one field, the fields like biotechnology, pharmaceuticals, plus life system technologies. There are so much of opportunities for you all in cosmetic industries, food processing. So with these changes in the world, economic, social, cultural, political changes, there are so many opportunities for the field of life sciences today. That's why we are talking about the life sciences and the importance of life sciences today. So when you define these life sciences, as I explained, there are so many areas where you can proceed with your higher studies. Let's say biochemistry, biomedical science, biotechnology, bioengineering, then food science, genetics, molecular biology. There are a lot of experience where you can get, right? So as I said, with the changes of the world today, if you take a simple example with this COVID-19 pandemic, there are so much of opportunities available for you all. It's just that you all need to understand the right career pathways for you all. So in this webinar, we'll be talking about what are the future career options available for you all in the area of life sciences, mainly the biomedical science and the biotechnology. Right. Why we study life sciences? So they remember we are talking about, and you all are dreaming to be a doctor. But remember, life sciences is the heart of this medical science. Basically, when it comes to healthcare sector, life sciences we can define as the heart. It's available for you all right now. It's all about how you understand your own human body, and you go to a level where you can conduct a research and you can invent something new. That's where the world has changed right now. It's, as I mentioned, it's not like the previous stages. So many years back when I was studying, I had very limited options. Rather than being a doctor, I didn't have any other career options in front of me. But the world has changed. But you have to identify where you can actually proceed in your career. Most of you have this question in your mind. Is a biomedical science or the biotechnology is limited conception? Most of the people have. No, it's not. The biomedical science and the biotechnology are available in so many areas where you can enhance your life. So the answer for the question, it's not. Understand, creating an artificial muscle from a cell and try identifying a specific treatment for any sort of illnesses. Can be physiological, can be psychological, can be stress, can be related to anxiety. So it's all covered in this area of life sciences. Do you guys know there are so many research conducted in these areas right now? We are talking about so much of new inventions. Do you guys know where 65% of our working crowd in Sri Lanka are suffering from significant psychological disorders? Are you aware of it? If not, there are so many research conducted in these areas to study about the stress, anxiety, right? So now I hope you understand how many opportunities are in front of you for your future. So after your A-levels, most of you guys are from A-level bio stream, right? Rather than only being a doctor, there are so many career opportunities. I think this webinar will open up your vision. It will broaden up your horizon. in the area of biotechnology and biomedical science, and what are the best career options available for you in these two areas, right? I'm not going to touch much about the biomedical science because we have an expert today, Dr. Dave from University of Salford, UK. So I'm not going to touch on biomedical sciences much, right? In biomedical science, we are mainly studying the functional and the structural aspects of our human body, mainly related to the health and the diseases, right? So Dr. Dave is the best person who can talk about the area of biomedical science and the career opportunities. When it comes to Sri Lanka, Pute, right, even the parents are there are mainly in pharmaceutical industry, food industry, cosmetic industry, and the healthcare industry. There are ample of opportunities for biomedical science, right? So it's not as previous years. So this is my topic. I'm supposed to talk about the biotechnology and the career opportunities available for you in the field of biotechnology. What do you understand by the word biotechnology? As we discuss, in a biotechnology, we are trying to identify the application, and we are trying to exploit the biological to produce a better product, right? So probably you can go for genetic mutations of microorganisms, where in the future, you will be in a position to develop very specific products. It's a very broad area. It's a very broad area where you can proceed your career. What are we going to study in this biotechnology? There are so many areas you're going to cover, from health to medicine to, you're touching the areas of agriculture, food processing, food preservations, then the biofuels and the waste management. You will talk about the soil conservation, especially biotechnology as a broad area which deals with many natural sciences. This is your future. This is the future of the world. So you have to get ready with the right qualification, with the right knowledge in order to face the future. As I said, as Darwin said, if you don't adapt yourself to the changing environment, changing world, you will not be able to survive. So it's the right time for you to take the right decision to identify what you can do in your life, right? So as I want to discuss, what are the career options available in the area of biotechnology today? Remember, this biotechnology is an area where you can have limitless financial growth, where you have significant career opportunities, right? It does not limit only to one area, not only to a laboratory. There are so much of opportunities available in the world in the area of biomedical science, right? As well as the biotechnology. So why to wait? It's your decision today, because if you don't take the right decision today, you will suffer in the future. You'll regret. So what are the career opportunities available for you in the future in the area of biotechnology? When it comes to Sri Lankan perspective, there are 4 major areas where you have the career opportunities. Think about the medical industry. When you think how many opportunities are there in the field of biotechnology in the medical industry, in the pharmaceutical industry, starting from inventing a new vaccine, invention of a new drug where you can treat for some the diseases. Yes, at the same time in the agriculture sector. Agriculture sector is a very big booming area which provides so many career opportunities for you all. Why not industrial areas plus the marine? So these are the main 4 areas which open up so many job opportunities, career opportunities for you all in Sri Lanka as well as in the world in the field of biotechnology. Right. So how about the research? When you consider Sri Lanka today, there are so many research going on in the field of biomedical as well as the biotechnology. Do you guys know we are in a process of discovering new diseases? We are in a process of inventing new vaccinations. We are trying to diagnose diseases. The area of genetic, cloning, regenerative medicine, all these areas are booming up right now, not only in Sri Lanka, in the world. The area of cell biology, cancer research, nanotechnology. How many areas are there? Now I hope you understand this is the area of life sciences, biomedical science, biotechnology. It's a broad area which provides so many opportunities for you all. Right. How about the career options available for biotechnology? After completing your A-levels, if you choose biotechnology as the career pathway, you can do your HND, High National Diploma with us. Then you can proceed for your final year degree program. Gradually, you can progress your education to a master's level, MSc, and to a PhD level. And you can put yourself in academic professions. You can be a research scientist. You can be a research assistant. You can be a research scholar. There are so many opportunities available for you in higher education. How about the research and development? Do you know, even right now in this moment, how many people who are engaged in drug development, pharmaceutical, vaccination production? How many people are involved with the new inventions to in the health sector? Why? There are so many opportunities in research and development for biotechnologists today. How about the quality control and the quality assurance, right? Basically, there are opportunities in Sri Lanka as well as in the world, mainly for this the biotechnology. So, from the academic side, from the research and development side, quality control and quality assurance side, all these things available for you all right now. So when you see the roadmap of an A-level student after A-level in biostream, if they choose their careers in biotechnology, in the future, now we are talking about HIV immune babies. We are talking about new vaccinations. Think about the condition today in every part of the world. Can be in United Kingdom, or it can be in other countries like USA, in Australia, right? So all are working on to find a vaccination for COVID virus, coronavirus. So these opportunities are available for you all in the future. And in the area of biotechnology, we are talking about the human tissue culture, which is completely a new area for the world today, right? So there are so many career opportunities available for you all. So at the same time, when you see the future of biotechnology, if you are a biomedical student, if you choose your career in biotechnology, you can either go to an academia or you can go to an industry. There are ample of opportunities available for you, right? So while you are waiting, today's world, the biotech industry needs a graduate with the right attitude, with the right knowledge. Of course, there should be a if the right person is the person with a purpose. Biotech industry is currently open up for graduates, for master's holders, the PhD holders with a purpose, where the person should be productive, who can uncompromise on the integrity, where he or she should have restraints, communication skills, with who can develop positive relationships, who's open your life yourself, and who can have an eye to the future, who can look at the future and develop your careers. So I hope with these few minutes, you all understood the career opportunities available for you all in the area of biotechnology. It's a time for you to take a decision where your decision will decide your future. If you don't take the right decision today about your career path, as I told you earlier, you will regret one day. There are so many job opportunities, career opportunities available in Sri Lanka as well as in the world. So my advice to you all, as a head of academic operations to business and science, take a decision. Choose your right career path and then progress in your career. Your future will always lying on your decision today. So basically, you take the right decision and progress with your career. So thank you for your time. And Tisha, it's over to you.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Soisa. Actually, it was very comprehensive, and as you said, it is exact. I mean, it's completely a new area that you have a lot of opportunities and a lot of career prospects in Sri Lanka as well. So now let me introduce our second speaker, Dr. David Greensmith. So thank you, Dr. Greensmith, from joining from UK, representing Salford University. And Dr. Greensmith is a lecturer in biomedical science, program leader for human biology and infectious diseases, and module lead for human physiology at the University of Salford. And he will brief us on career opportunities in biomedical science from a global perspective. Dr. Greensmith, the floor is yours now.
Okay, thank you, Tisha. So let me just get my presentation.
We can see you.
Excellent. Is that working okay?
Yeah, it does work.
Okay. So thank you to Hiran for the invitation to speak today. So I'm Dave Greensmith. I'm a lecturer from the University of Salford in the UK. I'm a lecturer from the University of Salford in the UK, and today I'm going to talk a little bit more on careers that stem from biomedicine and biotech-based degrees. And I'm going to try and give this a little bit of an international perspective. Okay, so to start with, I'd just like to talk a little bit about the University of Salford. Okay, so just to put things into perspective a little bit. So here are just some select images from the university. We're very proud of our heritage, but we're very forward thinking with some really, really nice new buildings, new campus investment. So who are we? Who is the University of Salford? So we're very proud of our pedigree. We've been a site of education for well over 100 years. We opened in 1896 as the Royal Technical Institute, and then we've gone through various developments until 1967, where we gained our university charter. So we've been a full-blown university for well over 50 years. We're very proud of our heritage and our pedigree, but we don't rest on our laurels at Salford. We're very, very forward-thinking. We're a very dynamic university, and we always invest to remain cutting edge in both our academic disciplines and our facilities. But I think that's evidenced by continuous investment across the university. A good example being our brand new campus at Media City. Media City being the UK's new hub for media and communications, which of course does link to science. We're a large university and we're growing fast. We've got a huge range of academic disciplines, around 300 undergraduate degrees and around 200 postgraduate degrees. And these degrees sit across 4 different schools. the School of Environment and Life Sciences, the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, the School of Health and Society, Arts and Media. Somebody's controlling my screen. If you could just let me control the screen, that would be appreciated. Thank you. Okay. Across these 4 different schools, we've got around 21,000 students and around 2,500 staff. And in fact, we're one of the fastest growing universities in the Northwest. And we're very proud of that. Now, we're big and we're influential. We're also very proud of the fact that we're a friendly, approachable university. And we're actually renowned for this quality across the sector. We've got some very approachable and supportive staff. And we've got an incredibly diverse national, international, and distance learning student community. So Salford's got the best of both worlds, in fact, that we're large and influential and growing, but we are renowned for this supportive and diverse student community. So where is Salford University? Guys, there's people keep requesting to share to gain access. Okay, stopping my presentation from moving forward. So if you could just prevent those requests for access, that'd be really appreciated. Okay, so where is Salford University? Well, it's in the United Kingdom, more specifically in the northwest of England. Okay, so just up between Manchester and Liverpool. And in fact, we're a Greater Manchester University. This is just zoomed in a little bit here, and we sit very, very close to Manchester, and this affords Salford University the best of another 2 worlds. We are a very nice green, open, spacious campus environment, but we're right next to one of the most cosmopolitan and biggest cities in the United Kingdom. It's got the nickname Capital of the North, so you do get the best of both worlds there. But where's biomedicine? Well, biomedicine sits within the School of Science, Engineering and Environment, and more specifically within the Directorate of Human and Natural Sciences. Now, this doesn't matter so much. What's important to consider is that within this directorate, we offer a huge range of programs that sit within a diverse group of subjects. So, for example, biomedicine, biology and wildlife, chemical sciences, geography, environmental management, and physics. And within each of these, we've got a huge range of highly focused, highly specific degree programs. We're interested in the biomedicine group today. So what is this? So currently within the UK, biomedicine consists of a suite of focus programs: biomedical science, human biology and infectious diseases, and our brand new microbiology degree. And 2 of these degrees are well and truly established, and they've been running for many, many years. But what we're very excited about is we're very close to completing development on some new degrees that will be delivered in partnership with the AIBS, a biomedical science aligned BSc, and the biotechnology aligned BSc. And we're very, very excited about this. And although the fine details are still to be confirmed, we're hoping these will be up and running very, very soon. So what do these degrees cover? So all these degrees have got a fundamental basis in the understanding of how the human body functions in health. So we'll look at human anatomy and physiology, the structure of the body, and how that structure confers function, i.e. how organs essentially work, that's physiology, and the cellular, genetic, and indeed molecular basis of that normal function. Now, the reason we go into that detail is so as biomedical science or biotechnology students, you can then understand how disease affects the human body. So pathological and infectious processes, non-infectious disease, and organ system dysfunction, such as cancer and heart disease. Now, what's important is at Salford, all our degrees then put this into useful perspective, in that they allow our degrees in kind of building how technology can then improve global health by using the knowledge that you guys gain. So novel diagnosis and treatment technologies, drug development and synthesis, biomaterials and nanotechnology, pollution control. And one of the biggest threats to mankind at the moment is antimicrobial resistance, the fact that we're running out of antibiotics fast. Now, essentially what these degrees intend to do is provide the full package. Yes, they provide the basic knowledge of human body function, so then you can understand how the body becomes dysfunctional in disease, but crucially, we give you the skills and knowledge so you can then actually make a difference by improving the situation. So is this underpinned by research? Research is critically important for bioscience degrees. Well, absolutely, because Salford is a highly research active university. And in fact, we're very proud of the fact that our research underpins cutting edge teaching. There's considerable diversity of research across the university, going from everything from health right through to arts and media and everything in between. But I guess what we're interested in today is which research underpins biomedicine and biotechnology. The answer is a huge diversity at Salford. Now, it would take me hours to go into all the research within biomedicine and biotechnology at Salford. But what I want to do now is just give you a bit of an overview. It's a very high level overview. And what I need to stress is that within each of these areas, there are many specific areas of research that are being conducted by our research groups. Just to give you a flavour, my own research is cardiovascular. I like to understand how the heart works and how it becomes dysfunctional in disease at cell level. We've got respiratory physiologists. We've got a research group looking at neuroscience and how the brain becomes dysfunctional in neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer. Cancer is a huge international research area, none more so than at Salford. At Salford, we've got a particular interest in childhood cancers, such as leukemias. And we've got a huge team of scientists who attempt to understand how cancers develop in the body, how they spread, the dysfunction they cause, and of course, how they might be treated. We've got a group looking at nanobiomedicine, in particular, how novel drugs can be better targeted to the sites of diseases. And of course, to push forward the fight against all diseases, we need novel drugs from natural sources to be developed and synthesized. So we've got a huge research group looking at that also. Very topical, as Shamara says, microbiology and infectious diseases. We've also got an awful lot of research looking into bacteriology, virology, parasitology, how these infections spread, how they cause dysfunction within the body, and of course, how they can be treated. And it's important to consider that all this research at Salford is being conducted by internationally recognised scientists, scientists who are recognised for their work across the world. They're published and they're authors of many papers. And of course, these are the guys who will be your lecturers. So again, we're at the cutting edge. So that's just a little bit about Salford. What I'd like to move on to now is a little on careers in biomedicine and biotechnology, and perhaps giving an an international perspective here. Again, this is a very high level overview. We go into the nuances of every single career out there. It's a simple as in time, and you know that's obviously a highly personal thing as well, in particular what you're interested in. But what I want to try and impress on you is that biotechnology and biomedicine open the doors to an incredible range of careers. Now, again, there are many, but I think it's convenient to sort of break them down into four basic areas: the clinical based, the research based, the industry / biotech based, and what I call other, which is sort of perhaps out of the box, but nonetheless highly related. So let's start by looking at the clinical based careers. So one of the biggest is the area of pathology. Okay, and pathology is essentially, broadly speaking, lab processes associated with the diagnosis and or identification of diseases. This may happen in various settings. I think the three fundamental are within hospital laboratories, and that's associated with patient diagnosis in commercial reference labs who are really dealing with large-scale or commercial screening of samples, and in public health, pathogen identification and the epidemiology of disease. Now, under pathology and within these settings, there are several specific career areas that form distinct and discrete careers. So, for example, biomedical or clinical scientists whose jobs involved in taking a more holistic approach to diagnosis and monitoring, medical microbiologists or virologists. So these are the guys who, if you go into hospital with an unknown infection, they'll ascertain what that infection is and therefore inform and design specific treatment strategies. Biochemists, things like ionic imbalances, nutrient deficiencies, they'll determine what those are. Medical histologists, often you go into a hospital, a biopsy is taken to try and understand what tissue dysfunction is at the heart of a disease. And of course, it's the histologists who take that tissue, prepare slides, and use advanced histological techniques to make those diagnoses. Hematologists, associated with blood work, a hugely important side of pathology. Now, these are important clinical-based careers, but they are very much behind the scenes. That's not a bad thing, it's just a fact. And some people might prefer a more patient-facing career. So let's take a look at some of those. So something that we're quite proud of at Salford is that many of our own biomedicine and biotechnology graduates go into graduate entry in medicine and dentistry. And this is where you undertake or you join a medical school as a postgraduate. Quite often, by virtue of the fact that you've already got many of the theoretical expertise under your belt, you can do this as a fast track course in around 4 years. In the United Kingdom, we've got a position called Physician's Associate. I think there are equivalents around the world. But essentially what the Physician's Associate does is it solves the problem whereby there's a huge demand for highly trained doctors. In the NHS in the UK, for example, we've got a lot of doctors and we've got a lot of highly trained medical professionals, but all of the doctors are allowed to make diagnoses and prescribe and perform intervention strategies. And actually, there are many, many routine diseases where you don't need 5 years of medical training to be able to do that. 2 years of highly focused training is perfectly fine. And that's what the Physician's Associate position intends to do, leaving the 5-year trained doctors to deal with the more special cases. And of course, if as your time through your biomedicine degree you develop an interest in any of the other allied health professions like nursing, physiotherapy, radiology or prosthetics, there are options to do these as postgraduates, which is sort of opens the door to much more careers. So that's the clinical aspects. What about research-based careers? Well, what do I mean by research-based careers? Well, again, very, very broadly speaking, I'm talking about working as a scientist within a research group that one day may well be your own. And the point of this research group, the point of this research is to answer very, very important questions that must be answered to progress technology and or healthcare, or indeed any other aspect of innovation for mankind. And this will usually involve working in a laboratory out in the field to acquire data, analysing that data to provide meaning, and then presenting that meaning to the world through mediums such as scientific papers and scientific conferences and meetings. And by doing this, you'll answer those important questions and disseminate your findings. Now, this too can be in various settings. The sort of traditional, if you will, is within academia. In other words, working in a university, of which there are hundreds, if not thousands, worldwide, actively involved in research. It may be in a clinical setting, and that's usually a link to academia, but it's probably in a hospital doing more patient-based research. Quite often, countries have charities or organisations that are associated with tackling certain problems. For example, Cancer Research UK or the British Heart Foundation are two examples in the United Kingdom, but there are many, many examples worldwide. And these guys need scientists to work on those particular fields. And of course, industry and biotech need research scientists to drive forward innovation and products and services within their field. So once again, high level overview, just to make you aware of all the potential places you might end up. But what can you research? Again, it's hugely diverse. When you're doing research as a professional scientist, it's incredibly specific. It's your work, it's your passion, and there's probably only you in the whole world doing that particular area of research. And of course, it's very much passion-led. So, examples include infectious disease research, bacteriology, parasitology, non-infectious disease research. So this is things like cancer or heart disease, inflammation, neurodegeneration, huge causes of morbidity and mortality across the world. And there is a phenomenal amount of research going on trying to understand how these diseases progress and how they can be treated. Medical technology, it's often taken for granted that if we go into hospital and we see all these new machines and all these really high-tech apparatus to diagnose and tell us what's going on with patients, but who's actually doing that research? Who's developing these new techniques? Scientists undertaking research. Biotechnology, nanotechnology, it's a huge growth area, specific drug delivery, exotic materials. Biomaterials and biosensors, so these are essential for smart diagnoses, and things like pollution control. And then on the other end of the spectrum, we've got the clinical research. So when scientists undertake infectious disease research and non-infectious disease research, when they come up with new findings, that's got to be translated into clinical benefit. So the next stage is often clinical trials, where epidemiologists or doctors and researchers working in hospitals undertake drug trials and trials with patients on intervention strategies to see if these outcomes are actually working in clinical practice. Well, how might you progress to a research-based career? Well, if we look at the three broad categories of research career, academic, clinical, and industrial, essentially what these all rely on is acquiring a PhD. Now, it's not always the case, but usually if you want to sort of enter the upper echelons of these research professions, you do require a PhD. And a PhD progresses nicely from a BSc. Now, you can go straight into a PhD after a BSc, but sometimes it may be required to do a master's, a taught master's or a master's by research, just to develop a bit more research experience so you can do a PhD. But that PhD essentially is a launch pad for a research career. And before that, it's essential that you get a related BSc under your belt. So what about the industry-based careers? Well, Chimara's just given us lots of nice detail on that, so I'll keep this brief. But as Chimara said, biotechnology is the use of living systems and organisms to develop or make products. And it's a huge growth industry that's absolutely desperate for scientists with the related education. Examples: medical and pharmaceutical, vaccine production, antimicrobial resistance solutions, artificial organs. Okay, when our organs fail, we rely on transplant. Hugely problematic. If we can just grow an organ from a patient's own cells, we can basically go shopping to cure our diseases. Industrial processes. The world is fast running out of consumable fuels. Biofuels are the likely solution to that. Pollution control. Whatever fuels we end up developing are going to create pollution. So if we want to produce a greener planet, we need to change the fuels that we use and then deal with the pollution that those fuels create. And this is the same for chemical production. The chemical industry is hugely messy at the moment. It produces a lot of inefficiency and pollution. So biotechnology offers solutions to create chemicals in a cleaner way. Food production and the eradication of hunger. Perhaps The more banal examples, the more sort of luxurious examples are brewing and wine production, the dairy industry, baking industry, huge growth industry that require biotechnologies to provide innovation. But perhaps a more serious threat to mankind is food production and the eradication of hunger. Production of high yield variety crops, crops that are resistant to extreme environments, and in insect control, pest resilience, will allow us to solve world hunger. So essentially what these three areas are trying to do is improve global living, if you like, improved world health for a growing and aging population, new materials that can be manufactured efficiently with low environmental impact, and feeding a growing population with hugely shrinking resources available to do that. So anyone entering into a biotech career will essentially be tasked with saving the world, so absolutely no pressure whatsoever there. But it's important to remember that this slide, and Tarara's slide, is in the context of careers, whereby you'll be working for many, many companies that implement the commercial or beneficial use of existing research and technology. And that's fine. This is where technology exists. It's come out of the lab, and now it's being implemented for commercial use. And there are many, many careers that align to that, and many careers that you guys might enjoy. But it's important to remember that in all cases, this is underpinned by ongoing industrial and academic-based research. But it also forms the basis of many, many research-based careers and an interface between academic and commercial biotechnology, again, opening many, many doors. So finally, I just want to look at the other careers, of which there are many. Now, this is important because what it's important to remember is any science-based degree will give you highly specific skills that allow you to become an expert in a given field and therefore specifically useful, and that means you're employable. But you mustn't forget that they also give you many ubiquitous and highly, highly transferable skills. Communication and networking, project design and management, here, scientific writing, numeracy and statistics, how to engage and use advanced technologies and IT that are specifically associated with intellectual fields like biosciences. And of course, what these transferable skills do is they open the door to a huge range of careers. So just to give some high-level examples, we've got the general scientific industry, not just biotech, but just scientific industry in general, pharmaceuticals, equipment assay and development, the equipment and tools that researchers use to answer their questions need to be developed by other scientists. It's a huge, huge growth market. Lab management, scientific and medical writing, especially in industrial research, there's a growing trend whereby scientists only acquire the data, and so they've got the time to do that. Scientific writing houses will then interpret that data and produce meaning. Again, it requires scientists. This is a big one. Scientific communication. Scientists can no longer sit in their labs and quietly get on with their research. We have to disseminate our findings to the global population. It's super, super important, because without disseminating our knowledge, that knowledge can't be used. But also, the public needs to be aware of the importance of our science. First of all, it's good for global education. Secondly, our funding depends on the public being aware of how important that funding is. So outreach and engagement, public awareness, scientific journalism, okay, so periodicals like New Scientist magazine, and general interest publishing all require highly trained scientists from BSEs, such as those that we're putting forward. Science is underpinned by many, many learning societies and organisations, the World Health Organization, the Medical Research Council in the UK, international organisations like the Physiological Society. Now, what these guys need on their staff are trained scientists who can direct the course of those institutions and inform policies. So it's a huge, huge employment sector. Sales and marketing. Why would you do a science-based degree to go into sales and marketing? Well, it's simple, because all these industries like biotech and the scientific equipment and assay producers need people who can go out to their market and tell quite clearly what the advantages of those products are. Why is my scientific test better than my competitors? Why is this ECG machine better than our competitors? And of course, to do that, the person who's marketing and selling that equipment needs to understand the equipment and the application absolutely inside out. And if you can do that, you can effectively market it. And that's a huge growth industry. Education, we're really pushing this at Salford. Many higher education platforms now require people with degrees going into secondary education, higher education or lectureships, training, professional developments, or professional consultancy firms all require expertise that are derived from a BSc. And essentially, what I'm trying to say is any career out there that requires the transferable skills that a science degree will give you will open those careers doors, giving you a very, very bright future. So just to summarise, the BSc provides highly focused knowledge and expertise, and that's going to make you an expert in your chosen field. What it doesn't do is lock you in to a narrow range of career options. Indeed, within the scope of biomedicine and biotechnology alone, career options are incredibly diverse. Your ambitions and aspirations should always be your driver, but it's absolutely fine if those ambitions and aspirations develop and progress as your degree does. Okay, it's fine to follow the river as your passions develop, as you learn new things. And remember this, that a BSc is important, but it's the facilitator and not the dictator of your aspirations. If you embrace it, work hard, but most of all, enjoy it, the future will absolutely be ours. So thank you for listening. I think there's a question and answer session at the end, and I'll be happy to take any questions there. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Dr. Greensmith. I think that we now clearly understood the difference between biotechnology and biomedical science. So I think that you explained the global perspective on biomedical science. So you explained about the careers available, industry-based career, and then research-based and clinical-based, and some of the other careers related to biomedical science. Thank you so much. I think it's very interesting. And right now, let me, before I invite our third speaker, let me now introduce and invite our surprise guest speaker, Ms. Himalsha Madhushani. Actually, Himalsha is one of our biomedical science students at AIBS School of Life Sciences, and Himalsha has the honor of being our first student to commence our pre-biomed program, and now she is continuing her BTech HND in Life Sciences at AIBS. She will be completing her HND somewhere around September this year, and she plans to proceed with a partner university degree program. So let's hear from her about her educational journey and her experience at AIBS. So Himalsha, let's see what she has to say. So Ms. Himalsha Madhushani, over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Hope all of you are safe and sound at homes. It's wonderful to be a part of this webinar, and for the first time, moving forward with our programs amidst all the present pandemic that is happening in the world. Thank you, Mr. Hiran, Dr. Chamara, and Mr. Shehan for organizing this webinar and giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the students of AIBS. And let me first introduce myself. I am Himalsha Madhushani, and I'm a student of the HND in Applied Biology. Right now, I am in the semester 4. So talking about my journey at AIBS, all my journey at AIBS started in 2018 as a pre-biomed student. In 2018, in the month of October, I joined AIBS as a pre-biomed student. And when I first joined AIBS, the first question I had was, in 2 months, what can we really do? Because usually um, a usual course program is of minimum 3 to 6 months. So I really had the question, 2 months, what are we going to really do? But I decided on investing my parents' money at AIBS for the pre-biomed program. At the end of the pre-biomed program, I was really happy because what I gained from the pre-biomed program is immense and priceless. One major important thing of the pre-biomed program is the industrial visits. The most interesting part of being a pre-biomed student is the opportunity that we get to go and visit different types of industries that are waiting to hire us after our degree. So being engaging and the opportunity that we get to engage with the job market, the opportunity of getting to see what kind of industries are waiting there out there to hire us is a great chance and privilege for us. And also the inspiration that we receive when we go to zones, industrial zones, different pharmaceutical companies, research institutes, and speaking to higher personals over there is immense. And I remember one of my personal experiences from the pre-biomed program is when we got the opportunity to go to the Beta group where they use plastic bottles to recycle and make threads and different kinds of plastic appliances. We got the opportunity to sit in a boardroom, speak with their managers and CEOs, and that was a great opportunity for inspiration as well, because if you are one of those students who would imagine yourself in 10 to 20 years, you would be inspired by this, I'm sure. And when I chose to move on with my HND, there were two advantages in my point of view. The first was the time of 18 months, because I would like to complete my studies soon as possible and pursue a career that I have my passion for. So I always wanted to complete my degree as soon as possible. So I chose the HND because it is in 18 months. And the second opportunity is that second advantage that I saw was that the biomed degree, the biomedical science degree, paves different paths, many paths for us to go. Like, for example, there are some degrees that are very specific that you end up in one career, but the biomedical degree, it paves paths to different kinds of careers. Like, you can be a nurse. Some countries and universities offer biomedical graduates to become doctors, so research scientists, and there are many other options. And this is the most important advantage that I received of being an HND student in biomedical science. Because I remember when after completing my A-levels, and when I started the pre-biomed and the HND, my desire or my passion was to become a geneticist. But at the middle of the first semester, beginning to my second semester, I realized that being a geneticist is not really what I want, but that is not my field. But I would like to be a lecturer. I like that field better than being a geneticist. Then I really did not get stuck. I did not feel like leaving the degree or I did not panic myself, because I have chosen the right degree of biomedical science, so that there are different paths I can follow. And even though I didn't want it to become a geneticist, there are other pathways that I can go to. And that is one of the major advantages that I see of being a biomedical student. And after the HND, I plan to complete my degree, and then, of course, for my MSc, and gather all possible qualifications that I can to go for the best of myself. And talking about the lecture panel at AIBS, our lecture panel is really good. We have the best lecturers and lecturers who are with a lot of experience in the biomedical field and different science fields. And I know most parents in Sri Lanka, even my parents, they have the desire of seeing their children learning and receiving from government universities. So you have that privilege as well, because at AIBS we have visiting lecturers who are lecturing at the moment in government universities. And we've been having semesters, some modules completed by visiting lecturers, and they've been super good. And an inevitable part of a science degree is a lab. And we do have a lab with 3 parts: the general laboratory, the pathology, and the microbiology. And we also had the opportunity to partner with a genetics laboratory and carry out practicals for genetics, which I don't think any institute in Sri Lanka can offer like AIBS did for us, because in Sri Lanka, as you know, there is not much institutes that carry genetics practicals and testing, but we had the opportunity to observe and also to take part in genetics practicals. And if you want to know about the environment at AIBS, we are in a very friendly environment, and not only the educational qualifications and educational background, but at AIBS we receive a lot of instructions and guidance for soft skills, English as a major portion, attitude building, character building, and personal development. I have experienced my fellow batchmates improving so much in presentation skills, in English communicating, and if you have a difficulty in English, it doesn't matter at AIBS, because the module and the English lecturers are really good to build you up into that state of English that you need to become a research scientist and to work in the science field. And also an added advantage is that AIBS being under Mr. Hiran, and Emergence Education, which is under Mr. Hiran, which is an institute that allows students to partner and to carry out their further studies at foreign universities. If you, as a student of AIBS, wants to move on to a foreign university, it could be easily done with Emergence Education. So that is also a privilege of being a student at AIBS. So ending up my minutes of speech, I would like to thank a special thanks to Dr. David Greensmith. Thank you for taking part in this webinar and investing your valuable time and knowledge with us. Especially what I gained out of your speech was the transferable skills that was really important, that helps us to move into any field that we have a passion to. And with the hope of seeing some new competent faces in AIBS in the near future, I would like to end saying thank you to all of you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very, very much, Himansha. It was really interesting to know your story at AIBS. Actually, I picked a small thing from your story. That was that you were wondering that what I can do after 2 months of pre-biomed program. So I think that question has been answered once you start your pre-biomed thing. So that was something like that I understood from your like whole, the story when you explained about your experience at AIBS with the lecturers and the environment and the setup and everything that as you explained, I think that joining doubt has been answered. Right, so while thanking you, Himansha, so let me now invite our last speaker, Mr. Hiran De Silva. And Mr. De Silva is the founding director, CEO of Asian Institute of Business and Science. And Mr. De Silva is a qualified and experienced professional in finance and investment banking. He was also a founding director of American National College, better known as ANC. So Mr. De Silva will brief us on AIBS and the philosophy of AIBS and international academic partnerships and educational pathways available at AIBS. I think at the moment also we are getting so many questions asking about available educational pathways, like what they can do after O levels and A levels, and then the MSc opportunities. I think now is the time to clarify your doubts through Mr. De Silva's presentation. Over to you, Mr. Hiran.
Thank you, Tisha. Welcome everyone to AIBS and this webinar. It's good to see a number of participants. You have already heard from Dr. Chandra De Soisa, Dr. Dave Smith. I'm sorry, Dave, a tongue twister. And our own student, Himalsha, sharing her own experience at AIBS as well. So over the next few minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, I intend to speak more on AIBS, our philosophy, our qualifications, and the academic progressions we are planning to have, and more importantly, what we have done so far and our plans. So to start with, I'd like to take you through our origins. So AIBS was actually established a little over 2 years ago. It's not a very old establishment, but you will also realize when I finish the presentation how much work we have done for these 2 years. In fact, we were sponsored by our own sister company called Emergence Education, which has been in the education space for almost now 10 years as a study abroad company, advising many students to go and study overseas. And we have access to more than 26 Australian universities, 30 Canadian universities and colleges, 12 UK universities and colleges. And in fact, we were founded by this gentleman who has been an icon in Sri Lanka in the field of science, the late Dr. De Silva. He, in fact, was honored by the president for his work towards the upliftment of science and technology in Sri Lanka. And having started his career as a biochemist in the medical field, he ended up as the chairman and the CEO of two apex bodies in the country. One is the CISIR, the primary research institution, and the other one is the Sri Lanka Standards Institution, which is the primary body which sets the standards for all the industries in Sri Lanka. So actually the vision of Dr. De Silva is the cornerstone of this AIBS, the Asian Institute of Business and Science. So let's just have a look at what the business philosophy or the vision and the business philosophy of AIBS is. In fact, we have 6 pillars on which our entire business philosophy and the vision is resting on. I'd like to take you through one by one because it's very important for you to understand what we do then. Firstly, our pillar number 1 is we deliver affordable, internationally accredited higher education qualifications. So it's not our qualifications, it's not a local qualification, it's an international qualification. Then we also develop sustainable partnerships with international universities. Now you heard Dr. Dave Smith talking about potential collaboration. Likewise, we want to develop many collaborative partners so that our students will benefit. The third one is we at AIBS offers programs with good employment outcomes and clear academic pathways. So when our students complete their studies, they'll be able to join the workforce and secure a good employment opportunities. Or they can further their education and progress to doing higher qualifications. Fourth, we want to provide the best educational or higher educational experience to our students. And you heard a little from Himanshu today about the experience that we would endeavor to give our students. Fifth, we want to be that center of excellence. So at AIBS, we will do a lot of things. Everything that we do will be with a lot of passion, and we want to excel in what we do. And last not but the least, we want to be a very socially responsible organization and to be competitive so that our students can have affordable degrees, as I told you earlier. And in spite of that, our organization can be also profitable. So you will agree that any academic institution like a school, like a university, it is important to have a very good leadership, very good governance, management capability in place. So here at AIBS, we have made sure that that governance is in place. And we have established an academic board, which is headed by Mrs. Rohini Nanakkara. She needs actually no introduction. She is one of the topmost corporate citizens in this country. She had headed many, many large publicly listed institutions. She was the first CEO woman banker in this country, being the general manager of Bank of Ceylon. So she brings all the expertise of good governance and how to run the best organization. She is ably assisted by 6 other board members who are very, very professional, highly qualified in their respective professions. And if you can just see the screen, many of them are with PhDs in their respective areas. We have academics, we have legal profession, people from the legal profession who will protect our company. So this is the strength that we bring bring to the table at AIBS in terms of good governance. Now, having said that, you will also realize a higher education institution is as good as its academics, lecturers, teachers, whatever you may call. Like a school, if you don't have good teachers, if you don't have good lecturers, the school will not perform. So we are very, very fortunate to have such a team at AIBS. We have one of the best teams of academics who have been now with us for the last a little over 2 years, and that again was the experience from Himanshu. She spoke about how good the lecturers are. So our academic team is headed by this gentleman, Dr. Chandra Disoisa. You saw him, you heard him, and some of you have continued experience with him as an academic, as a leader of an academic team. And he is ably supported by, in this particular School of Life Sciences, we have a special faculty, and all of them, you can see, they have got PhDs, some of them have MScs. They're extremely qualified in their respective biomedical science or biotechnology, molecular life sciences. These are the areas that our academics brings to the table to teach our students. So they are extremely competent, and that is what you get from AIBS. Right. Now, remember I said one of our philosophies is to deliver internationally accredited qualifications. So I want to reiterate this fact that we are not delivering our own qualifications. We are partnering, or we have tied up with awarding bodies international awarding bodies who are extremely credible, and they are also internationally regulated. So there are two components that I want to explain to you. First is, as you heard from Himansha, we have the High National Diploma, or the BTech High National Diploma in Life Sciences, that is regulated by a different set of people. Now, the BTech HND that we offer you is owned by Pearson. Pearson UK is one of the largest education bodies globally, and they offer it. They are known as a higher education institution. And some of you may have even heard of Pearson. Why? Because anybody who has done the London O-levels, which is now called the GCSE, and the London A-levels, which is the Edexcel, ACE, and the A-levels, it's owned by Pearson. Now, once you finish the high school, Pearson has the next level of qualifications called the BTech HNC and the HND. Now, Pearson is an awarding body, and Pearson is regulated by the Office of Qualifications and Examinations Regulation in the UK. So it's an internationally regulated organization. In addition to that, we have also got local regulation. We have registered these qualifications with the Tertiary and Vocational Education Commission here in Sri Lanka, so that it gives some advantages for our students. For example, if our students want to join the government service, like the CISIR or the Sri Lanka Standard Institution, and wants to do research, then the TVEC registration, the TVEC approval will help you to join even a state-owned institution. Now, the second component we have is our degree studies. So from the BTech HND programs, you can progress to higher qualifications like a first degree or an undergraduate degree. So the awarding body is a university, right? I have just listed out some of your collaborative partners here. University of Salford is there. We do some work with University of Roehampton, Coventry, and University of Derbyshire. Now, the universities, especially in the UK, are regulated by this OFS, the Office for Students, which is the equivalent of the University Grants Commission in Sri Lanka. So when you move into the degree program, your degree is regulated once again by the UK regulator, which supervises the universities. And in addition to that, they also have the oversight of the Quality Assurance Agency, QAA, from the UK, which determines the quality of the courses that you get, right? So it's very clear that our qualifications, the so-called BTech HND that we offer, is actually internationally regulated and accredited. So some of those students who are aspiring to join, you need to understand that the qualifications are extremely regulated, very well regulated by the best in the world coming from the UK. Now, one of the qualifications we deliver is this Pearson BTech HND qualification, right? I would like to explain a bit more, taking a little time. You will see this little slide, the picture. There's a good-looking boy there, right? His name is Max Whitlock. He's a double Olympic gold medalist from the UK. He has been honored by the Queen, and he has been given this title, MBE, Member of the British Empire, for his Olympic achievements or his athletic achievements. Now, Max is also a BTech student, and he has chosen to follow BTech in sports. So BTech is a qualification that has diverse areas that specializes in. And why does he endorse BTech? He says, my BTech has made me more productive and manage my time a lot better. So I like to understand what this BTech HND is all about. Firstly, the term BTech. BTech stands for Business and Technology Education Council of UK, right? Second, this qualification is a fully regulated qualification. So please remember, everyone, when you have the title BTech, the qualification is a fully regulated qualification. You might also find some of institutions in Sri Lanka marketing an HND, and they will say it's an assured qualification. It's not a BTech. So an assured qualification is not a fully regulated qualification, it's a self-regulated qualification. So the institution who is delivering the qualification is actually regulating that. Third, a BTech qualification is based on practical study rather than academic study, right? And is assessed and graded through assignments, projects, presentations, with very minimal examinations. Now I know, even me, I don't like too much exams because I don't like to cram. And some of you, I know, don't like examinations too much. So here is a higher education qualification which also has other assessment criteria, like doing projects, like assignments, like presentations, right? Which is not 100% examination oriented. That's good news. Next one. The BTech qualification is a vocational qualification. That is why I highlighted to you and about industrial placements, what Himansha spoke about, visiting factories and getting an understanding, right? A vocational qualification is very career focused and is good for an employment outcome, right? So, switch on my power. Sorry about that. I had to switch on the power of my computer. Right. So the last point on this BTech HND, it's a level 5 qualification. Now, I have put this in red, right? Please make a note. The BTech HND is a level 5 qualification, which is equivalent to the second year of a 3-year honors degree in the UK, right? Please remember that I'm going to explain to you more in detail in the next slide, right? And this qualification can be completed, and most of the students do complete it in 18 months, 1.5 years. Right. Now, just make a note of this word here at the beginning. Framework for Higher Educational Qualification, FHEQ in the UK. Right? What is this? So in the UK, there are 3 higher education streams, right? And what the government of UK has done is put a grid, a scale through which you can compare one qualification to the other. Now I'll explain it to you better with this chart, right? Now this is this so-called FHEQ level comparison qualification, okay? Now can you see there are 3 streams, as I told you. First one is the work-based learning, which is typically what we call the apprenticeship work. So you can see, can you see apprentice? Like in Sri Lanka, you get the National Apprenticeship Board. You can go and dirty your hands and get some work experience, and that is the one that will take you up the ladder. Then we have the vocational learning, right? Which is a mix of vocational and academic learning. Then we have the pure academic learning stream, where you start from primary schools, secondary school, high school, you go into the university, and you become an academic. So what the government of UK has done is they have started comparing all the qualifications and equated each of these into a level, right? So that's what this thing called level 1, 2, 3, 4 going up to 8. So now I want to show you and compare how our qualification, the BTech HND that you plan to study, how it equates or where it gets positioned in this ladder. Okay, so first, last slide I explained to you, there is this qualification called BTech, right? Here it is. So what is that? And I explained to you that's a vocational related learning. Okay, so that's the middle stream in this UK education ladder. Then in our qualification, we have something called the Higher National Diploma, HND, right? And shall we look at where that HND is in this vocational stream? Here it is, right? So can you see HND? Right, that's where it is in this stream. Right. Now, shall we check and see what level does it fall to? So it's actually on this chart, it falls on to level 5. Okay, that's why we call the HND as a level 5 qualification. Now this is the last stream is the higher education stream, the university stream. So shall we look at where this level 5, what is it equivalent to? It's equivalent to year 2. Can you see? It's very visible, right? So that's why we say HND level 5 qualification is equivalent to the first 2 years or year 2 in a university degree, right? I'm sure this is very clear for you now, right? How we compare the university education system with our HND qualification. Okay, so now once you complete this, the HND level 5 qualification, you are at the level 2, by year 2 level of a university degree. So how many more years have you got to complete? You have to go only 1 more year. You have to go into year 3, and that is what we call the level 6, right? To complete your honors degree, you have to do only 12 more months, and then you get your bachelor's, which is an honors degree. So just keep this in mind. This is a very important chart and a comparison, which will actually give you a good understanding about how a higher education, high national diploma, level 5 can be equated to the university degree system. Okay, right. Now, I also wanted to explain to you how the academic model works at AIBS. So very briefly, so if you are studying the BTech HND in life sciences, it lasts 18 months and you need to have 2 to 3 passes A-levels as an entry qualification. Now, if you don't have A-levels, you have only got O-levels. That doesn't mean that you cannot do. You may have to do a bridging program called a foundation program, and then you transfer yourself into this 18-month long BTech HND program. Now, once you finish this qualification, actually you can get into employment. If you wish to take a small break, you can actually go and join the workforce. But most of our students actually prefer to proceed and complete their undergraduate studies. And this is what we are able to do for you. So once the BTech HND Life Science is completed, you can transfer within our AIBS into the final year of a BSc Honours in Biomedical Science or BSc Honours in Biotechnology program. This is the one that Dr. Dave Greensmith was talking to you. We are in the final stage of mapping and formulating. Very soon, this program will be available for our students to sit in Sri Lanka, stay in Sri Lanka, and complete the balance 12 months and graduate as a BSc honors in biomedical science or biotechnology. Now, if there are any students who may have a plan or wanting to go overseas, so this BTech HND in life sciences is also recognized overseas. Especially I have highlighted here, you can go to Australia. Of course, in Australia, they will give you exemptions for the first year, and you will have to join year 2 and year 3. You need to complete 2 years of studies in Australia. That is by law, if you need to get your work permit so that you can remain in Australia, right? And that is the reason why the Australian universities will give you only 1 year's credit or 1 year exemption, because they encourage the students to study 2 years and get a work permit and then develop a career in Australia. Now, in either of these routes, once you complete your first degree, you can either proceed to a master's degree in Sri Lanka, UK, or in Australia. So both routes give you the progression to your postgraduate studies in the same way. Okay? Right. Now, I just want to briefly tell you what qualifications or products that we have currently at AIBS. You know, as I said at the very beginning, we may be a little over 2 years old, but we have done a lot of work to develop qualifications, partner international qualifications, and bring it to our students. So we have primarily 3 streams. Firstly, the foundation study stream, and we have the Australian Foundation Year Program, which is recognized by most Australian colleges and universities, so which is a 2-semester program. Then we have a Global University Pathway Program, which is actually a Canadian qualification, which is currently delivered here. And with that, you can enter Canadian universities, UK universities, and the Australian universities as well. And then we also have, we are about to launch a program called International Pathway to Foundation, which is an access qualification to universities in New Zealand. Then we have our advanced diploma programs, which is what I have been talking to you all this while now. The BTech HND in Life Sciences program, which gives the students 2 streams, the biomedical science, the biology route, and the biotechnology route. And these also can, as I explained to you in the earlier slide, can take you to not only UK universities, to Australian universities as well. We also have the BTech HND in Business, which also has pathway capability. And the 3rd stream we have is the undergraduate studies, which we are working with a number of UK universities. Mainly at this moment, it's the University of Salford partnership, which we are closing on, which will give our students an ability to complete their BSc honors in biotechnology and biomedical science. And similarly, in a couple of months, we'll have the business management and international business degree programs as well, right? Now, so I like to tell you what is unique at AIBS. We are not just another organization or academic institution. We have very unique selling or unique salient features in our product. First one is we have the ability to fast track the completion of a bachelor's degree. Now, how do we do that? It's not rocket science. So firstly, our students will take the BTech HND, in this case, the Life Sciences program, which is 18 months. Now, Himalsha is one of those students who is almost at the tail end of our first batch of HND students, and she will finish in about 18 months. Now, once you finish the 18 months, you will progress to do the final year in the BSc Biomedical Science or Biotechnology. Now that's 12 months. The year is 12 months. So if you add the 18 months and 12 months, that's 30 months, right? But in 30 months or 2.5 years, you're completing a degree which is otherwise normally completed in 3 years. So can you see that you have an ability to really fast track even your degree studies by joining into the BTech HND Life Sciences and Pathway to the University program. What is the second unique salient point that we have? We are able to give you an international degree at an affordable cost, right? So if you look at the BTech HND in Life Sciences, currently the cost is ranging between 535,000 to 560,000 rupees. And the final year will also cost around 650 to 700,000 rupees. So roughly, at a price of 1.2 or 1.3 million rupees, you are able to complete a BSc Honours degree, which is an international degree, a UK degree, an honours degree, which you will not be able to get without, at this price, I would say, mostly, right? That is something very unique, what you will get at AIBS. Now, I like to also talk a little bit about how we have progressed well in these last 2 years. That's because of our openness to innovation, openness to transformation, right? But I like to share a specific example, a recent example, which is our own COVID-19 experience. So at the beginning of this year, like all of us, you, me, none of us really thought that this COVID-19 was ever going to happen, but it did happen. So at the beginning of the year, AIBS was actually positioned as a very solid face-to-face provider. We have all the laboratory facilities, good auditorium capability, teaching, face-to-face teaching, all that. And we became one of the best or solid most face-to-face providers in tertiary and higher education. But when the COVID-19 struck somewhere in March, we almost felt that our delivery model was redundant. Why? We couldn't bring our kids, our students to our faculty, bring to for face-to-face. So we had to change, we had to innovate, we had to transform. So what did we do? We had to think hard and fast. And here's what we did. We trained all our registered students, all the students who were registered for our BTech HND programs. We trained them in video conferencing and learning platforms, and we immediately switched onto online lectures. Then, what did we do? We also found that some of our students did not have good coverage or good broadband capability. And then AIBS, we provided internet routers, we got them a broadband package, and even during curfew times, we have them delivered to the doorsteps of our students. And that is how they were able to join into our online lectures. Of course, when the situation improves, we will have to continue with our practicals. Hopefully this will happen soon, and then our kids will come. But we have the ability to continue online lectures, a mix of online lectures, visits to the auditorium, visits to the laboratory, and we will do it as what we call the blended delivery mode, right? So we have now, through innovation and transformation, have become one of the best blended delivery institutions thanks to COVID-19. Right? Now, we just don't do things for our students, everything for a price. No, we love our students. We give a lot of value additions to our students. That has been our motto, right from the beginning. And some of our existing students will endorse this, right? And we give so much more to our students, and that's our passion, right? Because we want to make our students the best. That is the best experience, as I told you from the very beginning. One of our pillars of our business philosophy is the student experience. So what do? We do continuous teaching and training in English free of cost to our students. That's how kids like Himalsha, who having studied in Sinhala stream, did her A-levels in Sinhala, is now very proficient in her English and her presentation skills. That's because AIBS continues to teach and train them in English, right? And we will also train them in the English language proficiency exams, because they will need to do their IELTS when they transfer to the University of Salford programs later on. We have regular guest speakers, lecturers from our partner universities and industry. This is a good learning for our students. We have library facilities at no extra cost, like some others people say the library deposit this, that, and the other. No, we don't charge anything additionally. Our fee includes all this. And we are planning to provide access to a global e-library in the future so that our students can actually read online and get more and more knowledge, right? And then we have the industrial placements and internship. Now, this is something that had got a bit disrupted currently, but we will try to reinstate that because some of the companies were closed. And the important thing is we have a dedicated product manager or a counselor for career guidance. So all our students who join the respective streams, whether it is life sciences or business, will have a dedicated product manager who will be the one who will guide your requirements and counsel you and put you into the right course. So take a note, friends, children, parents. This is Shehan. He is the product manager for the life sciences program. He's a very versatile person. Just make a note of his mobile number and his email ID. So Shehan will be the one who will talk to all of you about how to progress at AIBS in a career in your education, higher education, and careers in life sciences. So thank you very much for listening to me. This is a very quick overview about what we are, who we are, and there'll be a Q&A session, and we are happy to take those questions right now.
Right, okay, thank you very much, Mr. De Silva. So I think it's the presentation is very quick but very comprehensive, and I think most of the questions that has been forwarded through the chat box has been, I think we could answer probably through this presentation, because most of the participants wanted to know what are the pathway opportunities, like study abroad opportunities. So we have shared the contact numbers of relevant officers, so you can contact those people through that given numbers. So right, so at the moment, since this session is open for Q&A, so we would like to know whether you have any questions. If you have any, so you can either send a text saying that if you want to directly speak to one of our speakers regarding their 3 main presentations, so we can quickly unmute you to direct your question to our 3 speakers. Is there anyone? So, okay, so some want to know whether we can share the presentations. Of course, if you want, if you request, we can definitely send you the presentation. And I think some no more new questions. So can we know whether anyone wanted to, like, I mean, anyway, like to raise any questions, or how is it? What's the? Can you unmute? There's one who wanted us to unmute his her microphone. That is Leah Gamage. Of course, Leah Gamage, we can unmute your
can you hear?
Microphone. Of course, yes, we can hear. Yes.
Leah's father, actually.
Ah, right. Okay, okay.
She's around me. Actually, what I want to find out is now this pathway, like if we send on once if we completed the 2 years, I mean HND, other than Australia and UK, what are the other countries we can send her?
Okay, good question, Mr. Gamge. So currently, the BTech HND, the curriculum has been mapped mostly with the Australian and the UK universities. Now we are presenting this case to some of the Canadian universities as well.
Yeah, that's actually, sorry. Actually, I'm referring to Canadian universities, yeah.
Right. So the Canadian universities, we have made some efforts to present them the course curriculum and so on. And at the moment, I can't guarantee you a pathway to Canadian universities because, Mr. Gamage, Canadian university system is a bit different to the UK and Australian. Firstly, the Canadian degrees are 4-year degrees, right? If you follow that. Yeah. So trying to get credits from Canadian universities is quite a tough exercise, I must say. I need to be honest.
Understand. Okay, fine. Thank you.
But we have already, because there is a lot of interest from the Sri Lankan kids now wanting to pursue Canadian options.
Yeah.
So can I also now, we also have, I'd like to just give you that additional information. So just two weeks ago, we signed with a Canadian higher education institution. We are partnering them. We will be launching our Canadian University Pathway Program, which is the Canadian Ontario Secondary School Diploma Program, which will be delivered here in Sri Lanka. Now that is a direct university entrance qualification. So that will take you, of course, that will take you to year 1 in the Canadian university system. But the diploma program is 10 months. So like doing an Australian foundation, it's a very globally recognized qualification. The advantage is also not only the Canadian universities, the UK universities and the Australian universities all recognize this as an entry qualification. Of course, with that you go into the year 1 and then you pursue your 4-year degree from that point onwards. Now, that is what is available with us right now. I'm being very honest with you.
But who knows the future? It might change, yeah?
Yeah. The other thing is the BTech qualification also, because being a British qualification, because of the Commonwealth bondage that the Canadians and the UK people have, we might succeed in getting some credits. At least like Australia, if they can give the first year, we will certainly start communicating, Mr. Gamge.
Okay, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Gamage, for your question. And there's one more question from Yushra Naufa. Could I do a MSc or PhD in biomedical science after completing BSc in a state university? I think Dr. Soisa, can you answer this question probably, since it's related to a state university?
Yes. Thank you, Tisha. So, Ishara, basically, after completing your BSc from a state university, you have of course, you can proceed your master's and PhD in biomedical science, and vice versa also possible. Like, let's say once you complete your HND and your degree from a UK university, of course, it's possible for you to do your master's and your PhD even in a state university. So, both the options are available for the program.
I think it's the question. I think.
And there's another. Yeah, there's another part. Yes. Are there any age limit? Basically, there are no any age limit for to do your HND or your degree. There are no any age limit because age is not a barrier when it comes to your studies. So what I believe, there's no any barrier. Your age will never be a barrier. So you can of course proceed your highest HND or your degree without any issue. I think I have answered the question, Yusra.
Okay, I think there was another question. Dr. Greensmith, do you want to answer for that? You have already shared the link. Someone wanted to know about Salford University scholarship opportunities. So do you want to add anything to that? You have already shared the link. Do you want to add something also? Yes.
I think the scholarships are very, very specific and very, very circumstance dependent. So I think my advice there will be to take a look at that link. And if anyone's got specific questions, drop me an email and I'll give you some tailored advice, because the scholarships, there's there are many different options and very, very circumstance dependent. So feel free to drop me an email and we can discuss that. Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So anyone who wants to refer again, I mean, the link is there, so you can refer through that. And any questions? So there was another question about that doing asking about the astrobiology and biotechnology, whether there is a connection for that. So that, of course, that has been again addressed by Dr. Zisoisa. Yeah. So
the one about biotechnology or biomedical science from Senome.
Senome.
Yes.
Yeah,
so
yes.
That's a very, very good question. I mean, neither of them will cover plants as much. Biotechnology will cover some plant biology because of the need to cover the sort of agriculture side of things. Okay. If your passion's more aligned to human biology and genetics, cell biology, and diagnosis and monitoring, then biomedical science is a good degree. If you want a little bit more spectrum and you want it to be more linked to industry, then it's biotechnology. If you want an even broader base, so you really want to include all those subjects, then maybe something like a biology degree somewhere will be good for that. Okay, and that's something that perhaps we can explore. But at the moment, within the realms of biotechnology and biomedical science, I'd probably err on biomedical science, because it's just it's perhaps a little bit more ubiquitous than biotechnology. But it's worth reading up on that. And
okay, thank you, Dr. Greensmith. There's another question to you from Leah's father, Mr. Gamage, wants to know whether he can do. He's a civil engineer, and whether he can do an MSc in construction.
No, excuse me. That's my qualification I have mentioned. So when my daughter goes, can I come and do another MSc there? That's what I'm asking.
Okay.
Just to be with, sorry.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, so
just because I'm a single father and
right
for last 10 years alone.
Understand.
So I just
No worries. I'm sure we can.
Sure. So I'm not an expert in those MSCs because it's a different school within the university. But University of Salford do offer masters in areas such as those that you describe, and there are no age limits at all. So in principle, yes.
Yeah, fine, excellent.
If you drop me
Doctor, or else I can look for my DBA in my field itself. Then I can be with still the same, yeah. Rather than deviating, yeah.
Yeah, in principle, yeah. The best thing to do is if you drop me an email, I can share my email afterwards. I'll put you in touch with the correct department that covers those degree programs. They'll be able to give you some very specific advice.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
Mr. Fansuke, if I may add a little, that could be also a good idea for you to progress to your next level. PhD or DBA, as you said, might be so both the father and the daughter can both study.
So the question about A-level subjects, is that specifically?
I don't need to do biotechnology. Can do DBA or something.
So there's one from Tashita about A-level subjects. So at Salford, if you were coming straight into our first year, we'd be looking for evidence of biology. But the plan to come in via what we call articulation from AIBS, the degrees will be created to perfectly align with what you've already done at AIBS. So prerequisite knowledge is no issue whatsoever. All we'd be looking for is that you achieve a good grade in your HND. Subject alignment is automatically taken care of, which is a massive advantage.
Yes, I would like to add the answer. Shashita. So to do your HND in biomedicine or biotechnology, if you have your A-levels, 3 passes in biostream, that's perfectly fine. Because your biomedicine as well as biotechnology has so many subjects relevant to chemistry as well as biology. So these subjects are very important when it comes to pursue your higher studies in either biomedicine or biotechnology.
Right. Also, there's one question from Gavini Pereira. Gavini wants to know that what are the Canadian universities that we have. So, Mr. Silva, can you please answer that?
Okay. We represent close to 30 Canadian universities and colleges. I can probably, Gavini is one of our students, right? So I might be able to give you the list. We continue to add because Canadian representations are growing in number. I'll give you the list.
I think all the questions that have been forwarded through the chat box also are being answered now. And there's one, it seems. So, yeah, we get another one. Can I know what are the leading countries for biotechnology jobs? Yeah, can you answer for that, Dr. Suisa, please?
Yes, I would like to answer the question, and I would like to get the opinion from Dr. Dev as well. So when it comes to biotechnology, not only in Sri Lanka, even any European countries, United Kingdom, Australia, USA, Netherlands, Canada, there are so many opportunities. So I would like Dr. Dev, your opinion as well regarding the question. Where there are more, what are the countries where the biotechnology opportunities are very much?
I think your point is extremely valid, Chirara. I think it's a global phenomenon, and I think any country that has got a serious research base, which are most developed countries now are considerably research active, will have interest in biotechnology. So certainly right away across Europe, Americas, East Asia, you name it. So biotechnology is a concept rather than a particular discipline. So it's a global phenomenon without a doubt. Yeah.
Right. Okay. There's another question. I think that is to Dr. Greensmith for you. That is from Himalsha. The Salford University offer MSc in reproductive science. If I am to pursue a career as a reproduction counselor, what pathway should I take?
Okay, that's a good question. Within our school, we don't offer a specific MSc in reproductive science. We offer an MSc in biomedical science, which may have related qualifications. However, we have a school called Health and Society. Now, I don't recall a particular degree program called reproductive science, but there are many MScs that align to that sort of health counselling and sort of healthcare counselling careers. What I can do is I can look into that for you, and I can put you in touch with the School of Health, and I can offer advice on the degrees that I think are related within our school. You can also speak to the person who leads the degrees that I think will be relating to health. And from both, you can get a nice picture and follow the path that looks most suitable to you. So again, if you drop me an email, we can have further discussions, and I'll put you in touch with the right people and the right degrees. It might be worth for everybody at this point just to mention that if you go to our website and navigate to the course finder, you can search for all our degrees, and you can filter by postgraduate and undergraduate degrees, and that will tell you exactly all the different postgraduate degrees that we've got on offer, and also who to speak to about those. I'll get the link now and share it.
Right. Thank you. And there's one more from Tushari Galage asking, what are the qualifications required to become a lecturer? Who would want to take the chance to answer for that? Maybe Dr. Greensmith, do you want to add something to that?
Yeah, sure. I mean,
yeah.
Let me just get my screen up a moment. Yeah, so I think it depends on the country. In my experience, I can speak for Europe and America too, because I've got lots of colleagues in academia across Europe and America. And generally speaking, it's your first permanent academic position. Okay, so usually it requires a PhD, which is essentially your first job as a scientist. And then, especially within sciences, you would then work as a scientist as a position called a postdoctoral research associate for 3 to 6 years to get your independent record up to speed. So you'll be publishing papers, acquiring grants, getting your name out there. That then puts you in a position to apply for permanent lectureship positions. Okay, now that is highly, highly generalized. Okay, there are different routes, and it also depends on the discipline. So some disciplines you can go from a BSc into a lectureship, or straight from your PhD into a lectureship. Other disciplines require more years of experience. But generally, if you want to be an academic lecturer, I would put your first goalpost as acquiring a PhD. Okay, because that opens up lots and lots of extra doors. And to get a PhD, you need a highly relevant BSc, such as those that we've discussed today. Okay.
Yeah, sorry, my microphone was on mute. Okay, thank you so much. Right. Okay, so now there's one last question. Can I also complete the masters in Sri Lanka, or if I want to do masters and PhD, should I go abroad to do the masters and PhD? Maybe Dr. Soisa, can you?
Yes, Tisha, thank you. So basically, once you complete your degree, once you complete HND, you can do your degree, the masters here in Sri Lanka, even in a private institute or in the state university. Or of course, you can go abroad for your PhD as well. At the same time, if you complete your degree and your masters in Sri Lanka, right? Then you can go abroad for your PhD. So that's what we explained here. Since we offer the globally recognized qualifications with the global recognized universities, with the partners, you will be in a position to either complete your studies here or even in other countries.
Okay, right. Thank you so much, Dr. Soisa. So, okay, so it's time to end the webinar. And I think it was very a wonderful evening, I would rather say. And actually, let me first thank our lovely audience for being with us for more than, I think now it's 2 hours time, and especially the parents taking time to sit with their children and then listen to before they take decisions about their education, about their children's education. And so thank you for being with us and make this session very interacting and then very interesting. Thank you so much once again. And also now let me thank our three speakers, and that Dr. Charmer D'Souza and Dr. David Greensmith for joining from UK, disregarding your time difference, and also Mr. Hirandi Silva, and invite the guest invitee, Ms. Himalsha Madhushani. And yeah, thank you very much for your time and for your lovely presentations and sharing your experience and expertise in relevant areas. And also, like, I would also like to thank AIBS School of Life Sciences for organizing this amazing webinar session. And thank you very, very much, and have a pleasant evening. Thank you so much.
Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Dave, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.